Hey, everybody, and welcome to episode 78 of Weight Loss Wednesday. I'm Chef AJ, and I am so excited because I have a live guest today. You know, as you may know, if you follow me, that at episode 75, that was actually my last regular live episode. I started doing taped episodes where each week I was going to show you a recipe that would help you achieve healthy, permanent, and sustainable weight loss. But I decided that since my new book, The Secrets to Ultimate Weight Loss, came out, that every chef that contributed a recipe, if they wanted to, would come on the show live and do their recipe. So I am so honored to have one of the most prolific recipe writers and talented vegan chefs I know in the world appearing today doing her recipe from page 230. It is the roasted onion and garlic ranch dressing, in case you want to follow along. And she's also going to do two other recipes from some of her other books. If you don't know who this lady is, then you haven't been vegan very long, because she has written so many best-selling vegan cookbooks. Her books are actually available at Costco. That's how popular they are. She's the proprietor of a couple of different groups on Facebook, the Healthy Slow Cooking group, and a new one called the Plant-Based Instant Pot. It doesn't matter. Whatever I don't know if this happens to you, Kathy, but anytime it's time to do something, that's when they want attention. So I am so excited to introduce Kathy Hester. Say hi, Bailey.
Hey, everybody. Hi, puppy.
Yeah. If you love Kathy Hester, if you guys love Kathy Hester and her recipes as much as I do, let's see some hearts right on the screen right now, so we can show her so much love that she'll come to Vegas and sell her books, and maybe next year even do a cooking demo with her. So thank you so much, Kathy, not just for being here and being so generous with your time and your recipes, but you guys may not know this, but I had asked some of my chef friends to contribute recipes to my book, and they did. But in Kathy's case, she created this recipe special because so many people were complaining that there weren't enough good vegan salad dressings for people following an SOS-free diet, sugar, oil, salt-free. And with Kathy, it's no problem because she is so inclusive of everyone's dietary preferences and allergies and medical conditions. And then she took mine into account because I knew that, a lot of people think beans right away, creaminess. And I say, but also, could it be no beans? And she has achieved what I think is the best ranch dressing I've ever tasted. You could actually drink it. And I've made it, but I know that I'm probably doing something that could be done a little better, which is why I'm so honored to have Kathy Hester here to teach us how to make the recipe on page 230. Take it away, Kathy.
Well, thank you for having me on. And since I'm going to show you a few other recipes, I'm going to start a couple of things cooking, and then we're going to do that ranch dressing a little bit later, if that's okay.
Absolutely.
So the first recipe I'm going to show you is from the Ultimate Vegan Cookbook for your Instant Pot. And it's actually vegetable bouillon that you make yourself.
Yum.
And what I love about it so much is that you can make it however you want. So obviously you can make it salt-free and oil-free. You can include things to bulk it up or flavor-wise, depending on what you like. So pretty much you're looking right now at the majority of it. So it's one onion kind of cut up in big chunks, carrot, about 4 carrots, 4 sticks of celery cut up in chunks. I'm going to do a little bit of rosemary and some fresh thyme. So all I'm going to do in my Instant Pot, I already have some water in there, about a half a cup or a cup, and I have this green silicone steamer. And that's just going to let it be easy for me to get all the stuff out. So literally dumping this in and putting the herbs on top. And I have everything but the lid for my Instant Pot, which is over here.
Yeah, the lid is kind of important.
Yeah, it's really important. So if you're not used to using the Instant Pot or you're new to it, also if you don't have an Instant Pot, you can do this in your oven, in a Dutch oven. You can do it on the stovetop. You're just cooking it. So I'm going to close it. I am going to turn this on. There we go. And we're going to cook it for about 10 minutes. So I'm going to click manual and then have it go to 10 minutes. Yours may say pressure cook instead of manual. And then we're just going to set this aside and let it be cooking while we're doing other things. Once this is cooked, we're going to blend it up with some nutritional yeast, and that's it. It's kind of an amazing, super cheap thing to do. So the other thing, since I've been on your show last, everybody's been talking about my seasoning mixes. So
Yep.
I know you were talking about my barbecue seasoning mix, so I thought we would just make some. And so that's from the Vegan Cooking in Your Air Fryer book. And I'm even going to open up the recipe so that I give you exactly the right amounts.
Nice.
So easy to make a spice mix. You just want a jar and a few things. Now there's a couple of things that are a little unusual in this. And one is tomato powder. Can you I can't see the phone, so can you see the
No, I can see it and I can smell it. It smells fantastic.
It does. It smells like the richest, deepest sun-dried tomatoes that you might ever have. So you can buy this or you can make it. And if there's a recipe in this book on how to make it, but basically you just take sun-dried tomatoes, toast them to make sure there's no moisture, and grind them to a powder. So the first thing we're going to do is put about a tablespoon and 2 teaspoons of smoked paprika.
My favorite spice. Kathy, is there a favorite smoked paprika you like?
You know, I don't care. I love them all. I've not had a bad one yet. I tend to end up getting it at Trader Joe's because they usually run out a lot.
Mm-hmm.
But you can also get it in pound bags online too. So that's kind of awesome. Now, and one thing that we're going to use a couple of different places, including the dressing recipe, is the onion powder and garlic powder. And I want people to remember that this, just like the tomato powder I was talking about, it's just whole onion or garlic that's been dried and just crushed up, right, and ground up. So there's nothing weird. It really just has onion in there. I know some people get a little bit weirded out and think it's some sort of chemical process, but it's not. We're going to put like a tablespoon of onion powder in. The recipe has a salt amount. You never, ever have to use salt in any of the recipes that I talk to or any recipe blends. That's totally up to you. Then we're going to do about 2 teaspoons of the tomato powder. And one of the things, since I make my own, is I actually keep it in here with these little silica gel packets that come from like vitamins, or sometimes if you get seaweed or something like that. Let's do this a little bit more. I would be really interested to know if anybody's used tomato powder yet, because I think it's really cool. It's also good in soups and stews and things. It gives it a real burst of tomato flavor, kind of like you expect from tomato paste.
You know, Kathy, it's funny that you said that because in my first book on process that I wrote in 2010 that came out in 2011, I was using tomato powder because especially for people that are avoiding salt, it has such a depth of flavor.
It really, really does. Mushroom powder is also a really nice one too, just to add some extra zing. Now, I call for some chili powder, and you could look at it 2 different ways. You could just use the chili mix that maybe you'd use in your bean chili, which has chili powders and other ingredients, or just plain old chili powder, like this is ancho. It's just chilies that I've dried and ground up.
Do you notice that sometimes chili powder can vary widely in how hot it is?
Oh, absolutely. So guajillo, which is the one that starts with a G, for people who, and I'm probably still saying it wrong, and ancho chili powder are good because those are definitely milder powders. The little ones, and these look like big and they're wrinkled and a little darker, are the ancho, and the guajillo are usually a little bit longer like that. I think it's is it arbol? I don't know how to say it. It's ARBOL.
Arbol? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Unless you want the hot, don't do it.
Yep.
But yeah, and at least some of the more Americanized places on the back of the chilies will give you a heat level. And that can be really helpful too.
Right.
And then we're going to put a little bit of mustard powder. Just like a half teaspoon. And then we're going to put about the same amount of black pepper.
You know, Kathy, I gave you this idea last time you came on the show, but I'm telling you, most of us are pretty lazy. You know, the conservation of energy principle they talk about in the pleasure trap. If you had a line of Kathy Hester seasonings, I personally would buy them, and I think other people would too.
Well, it's not off the table yet.
Okay.
It's definitely not off the table. But I've got a couple of things I have to do. Like, I just started doing and so after you add all these, we're just going to mix them up. So I'm just going to chat while I'm mixing it up really good. I've started my new blog, plantbasedinstantpot.com, and I'm super excited about it. And I have a new Facebook group to go with it. And then there's that ebook that I'm hoping to work with you a little bit on.
Yeah.
Probably after those things get done, then maybe I'll do a trial run and see how it goes. But really,
or you could just come to Vegas with a bunch of your pre-made seasoning mixes and do a launch there and sell them there. You know, any salt-free ones, I'm telling you, people will buy.
See, I think you need to be my new manager.
I think I should actually.
And so the actual recipe does have some sugar in it as well, which of course we're leaving out this time.
Right, and I've left it out and it was fine, or people could use date sugar or even ground up dates.
That's what I was going to ask you. Yeah, it tastes just fine without either one of them.
It really did. I made it without it and I put it on mushrooms and cauliflower. It tasted great.
And that's what we're going to do as well. So I have like 4 appliances all around me. What we're going to do then next is I do have cauliflower, and I've gone ahead and just broken it up just into kind of buffalo sized bites. And I thought too that I would bring up, let me make sure this really is plugged in. This little bottle, I got it on Amazon. It's just a little glass bottle that you can clean up with a little sprayer. And I have Aqua Fava in here. And so for those of you who don't know, Aqua Fava is just bean water, usually chickpea water. So if you get some chickpeas in a can, the liquid left over would be Aqua Fava. If you make your beans from scratch, you can still save that liquid from the chickpeas, and you might want to kind of boil it down a little bit until it gets a little bit thicker, like the ones from the can. It really just depends on how much water you cook your beans with. I know I cook mine with extra because I'm lazy and I don't want to measure. So all I'm going to do is spray some of this Aqua Fava on here just to kind of make it a little bit wet. And then I'm going to toss it with some of this barbecue spice I just made. And this is going to be part of our dinner. And I wish you could be able to eat some with me.
We've got people watching all the way from Puerto Rico. That's fantastic.
Ooh, I bet they have some wonderful chili powders there.
Lisa, these recipes are in her book. She's doing one from her Instant Pot book, one from her air fryer book, and she's doing one from page 230 of my new book. And if you want more interaction with Kathy, you have 2 Facebook groups now, or did you combine them?
I do. I have 2 Facebook pages, but it's still Vegan Recipes. Cooking with Kathy Hester is my free online Facebook group, and you get more personal attention there. Though you're welcome to be on either page as well. Okay.
And if you want to take more classes with her, I posted a link and I'll keep posting it. There is a small fee, but you get to watch live and interact or watch the replay as much as you want. And these live classes she's been doing have been fabulous.
Oh, thank you. The last one was very successful and I was pretty happy with it. So what we do in those classes is almost like today. So like in the first class, which I talk a lot about the Instant Pot, how to use it, that has 4 recipes we did, and it went over a little over 2 hours. And the new one that's going to be taped later this month is going to have 5 different recipes that are still great for beginners. So you guys can probably see, so what the Aqua Fava did, the only reason for putting it on is to help the spice stick. So now I'm going to go ahead and just put it in my air fryer. And we'll let that cook.
Are you using the Go Wise?
This one is the Phillips, just because I was cooking the onion for the dressing, and the Go Wise is the only reason I use it. But this one is kind of neat. It has, I'm not using it now, but it has a great lid that goes under here that's like grated. So if you're cooking kale chips, it doesn't get up into the burner and the fan that's up here. So those are both I love both of them. The Go Wise is much larger than this one and works really great. And let's try, I'm going to start, let's see. I'm going to start this a little bit less since it's like plain old, hard as a rock cauliflower. So I'm going to start cooking it a little bit earlier. Let's take a look after 10 minutes. There we go. And hopefully you can hear me over all the various...
All the fans. Sheila wants to know if Aqua Fava needs to be refrigerated.
Yes. Absolutely. If you notice, it doesn't even last a full week in the fridge for me until I notice the smell going off just a little bit. So I'm super funny about it. But that's a great question. So now I'm going to bring over the dressing ingredients for your book.
Yay!
The best. And it's really easy. Get these guys over here. So what we're going to be using for the base is actually this roasted onion and roasted garlic. And so what happens when you roast these is they actually get a little sweet.
Mm-hmm.
So you lose the onion bite completely. Cheryl doesn't like onions, and I make an onion cream with this, which is just really this. You can make an onion sour cream with a little bit of lemon or something.
Yum.
And it's just it really is a whole food. You can't get much wholer than a whole onion.
Right.
And so it doesn't really taste like onion. So we're going to go back in the end and we're going to put in some powdered onion and powdered garlic to add that bite. Because I feel like one of the things when you leave out salt is it takes away some of that bite that you're expecting. So let me move blender number 2 over here.
Wow.
I know. I have all my toys out today. So I'm going to just try this in the Ninja because I think it's going to work fine.
Kathy Sue is suggesting to freeze the Aqua Faba in ice cube trays and use a cube at a time.
That's a wonderful thing to do, and that's how I store my bouillon. So that you can make a big batch of bouillon and really use it for a long time, months.
And you guys show Kathy some love, and she's doing all this stuff on the goodness of her heart, giving up her time. So please share this broadcast with your groups. I've shared it with Kathy's group and a few of mine. There's a little button right where you're watching, whether you're on your phone or the computer. You can share it in real time, and they can watch the broadcast in progress or from the beginning. And I'll have it on YouTube very soon.
Awesome. I'm adding some unsweetened soy milk. You can add any unsweetened non-dairy milk that you like. I like, especially in this, if you can do soy and you're okay with it, I think it makes it a little bit thicker.
Yeah.
Something you could do that I did not do is you could put a little bit of lemon juice or apple cider vinegar in this, let it sit and become buttermilk.
Yeah.
Right?
What would you do, like maybe 1 tablespoon or so?
Yeah, 1 tablespoon for this half cup. And even like right now, I'm just kind of guessing. So if this doesn't mix well, if I measured it exactly or not, if I put this on and it's just not thin enough to really start blending well, I'm going to come back and put a little more of this in. So I want everybody to realize that making this recipe to where it suits you and your taste and what's going on in that moment is more important than getting exactly what I'm telling you to do.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody won't tell you that, but I'm like, live large, you know?
Do you dream recipes? Like, do you put your head down and then think, you know what, tomorrow I think I can combine this and make this?
Sometimes I do, yeah. Because I've been trying to come up with some recipes for the new site, so I just went ahead and made a list. So I was feeling in the mood. I made a list of about 20, 25 recipes that I want to make. So it was pretty fun. We're also in this dressing, we're going to use dill because hopefully everybody knows that dill is in all ranch dressing, and we're going to use a little basil too.
Yep. Thank you guys for sharing. You know, I think the fact that I think this is I don't know if this is true, but I think the fact that you are not strictly SOS free means you can really create great recipes that are, because, you know, sometimes even in vegan restaurants, the chefs aren't even vegan and they can make incredible vegan food. And I think because you have I have a pretty limited palate and so I can make my kind of recipes taste good, but I think because you have a more expanded palate, and you know, I think that's why you're so good at so many different kinds of recipes, you know?
Well, thank you. I really love different flavors and trying things. Like if there's something on a menu that's vegan and I don't know what it is, I'm super excited because I know I'm going to try it. So if it's a new vegetable or fruit or spice to me, I just love it. So this
Kathy, they're asking for the name of your group. So let me type it in right now. They go to Facebook and then what do they put in? Vegan recipes?
Vegan recipes, and I'll tell you the exact name. Yeah, vegan recipes, cooking with Kathy Hester. So
thank you. I'm typing it in right now.
And actually it's in the URL, it's called Vegan Cooking with Kathy.
Right. Okay.
So they can just
Perfect.
go to facebook.com/groups/vegan cooking with spelled out Kathy, Kathy.
Nice.
Okay, I'm going to see if this guy's going to blend yet. And this may be loud, so I apologize. Okay, that blended up nice. Because we kind of want ranch dressing to be a little bit thick, you know?
Yep.
So the first thing I do whenever I'm making anything is that I'm going to taste this and decide if I need to adjust it. Because every onion is different, every garlic is different, right? Let me see if like right now it's super thick. I probably want it a little thinner than that.
Oh my God. It'd be great though.
Food-ish, right? So maybe
it'd be great for like cauliflower wings.
Oh yeah. Whatever this is going to stick on whatever you put it on. This would be good if you wanted to kind of do like a ranch cauliflower, ranch tofu, something like that.
Yep.
I like it. This onion is sweeter than the other onion I used.
Yeah,
so I'm going to add a little bit more onion powder and garlic powder than I did last time.
The people that have got my book, The Secrets to Ultimate Weight Loss, and that are in our Ultimate Weight Loss group, they have made it. They have loved it, as have I. It's so good.
That's so awesome. And one of the things, whenever I'm doing anything live, because I actually do a live on my Facebook page every Tuesday. And
Tuesday, terrific.
Yeah, Tuesdays at 1 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. And what I like to do is let people know that recipes aren't just, you know, written in the sand, and that you can change things to make them work for you.
Absolutely. Only bacon.
Sorry, just take another.
No, it's okay.
I think that's all we need for this one.
I was going to say I agree with you that I think when you bake, it's always prudent, at least the first time, to follow a recipe. But when you're cooking, it's more experiential. You can color outside the lines. Patty's saying that your ranch dressing would be good on potatoes. I bet you it would be fantastic on baked potatoes or even fries. You know, it's interesting, Kathy. It's almost like anytime there's an appliance, you've written a book for it. Vegan cooking for the Instant Pot, vegan cooking for the slow cooker, vegan cooking for the air fryer. I'm waiting for vegan cooking for the food dehydrator.
Oh, now that would be fun.
Yeah.
That would definitely be fun. Okay,
yep.
So this is still a little thick. And you could go from there. I would rather it when it comes to you and you make it the first time it be thicker rather than thinner, because it's harder to fix something that's too thin.
Right.
In this case, this is it for me right here. Another thing you could do with this is you could either have some raw zucchini noodles or lightly steam some zucchini noodles and use this kind of like an Alfredo sauce.
Oh, wow.
What I would do is change the seasoning. So I would take the dill out, but that may be all I would change. So you can have onion and garlic powder, maybe some basil, maybe a little oregano or some powdered rosemary in there. Because with the onion cream, I make a mac and cheese using nutritional yeast.
That sounds great.
And so we've still got 3 more minutes on our other veggies. But this is pretty close. I mean, I probably would cook this longer. And
oh, my God. I wish we had smell-o-vision and taste-o-vision. That's incredible.
It smells so good.
And, even people that don't like vegetables, you put it in the air fryer and you like vegetables.
It's true. It helps Cheryl a lot. Cheryl's gone kicking and screaming. Like, I totally fooled her with the onion cream mac and cheese.
Wow.
I was like, there's something surprise in there. Can you tell what it is? And she had no idea it was onion.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And so, but yeah, these are so good. And this, actually, these would be good dipped in that ranch, too.
I know they would. Oh, are you kidding? Barbecue ranch cauliflower wings? Hello.
But it's so, it's easier than people think to make things that fit into the ultimate weight loss diet. And people call it unlimited weight loss diet.
Right, exactly.
So it's kind of the same thing. But yeah, because I think we all now are really cool with cauliflower. We really think about cauliflower and I think it's magic. You can make a sauce with it. You can make buffalo wings with it. You can make, I make my nacho cheese sauce with it.
Yep.
It's fantastic. And it's easy to forget things like onion. Onion can do all those same things too. And so I think we have more to play with than we might think about.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So do your people have any questions at all?
I'm watching to see if you guys have any questions. Type them in and I'll ask. The roasted cauliflower wings, is that in your book? Mary Ellen wants to know.
That is not, but I will put.
But the seasoning is, so yeah, it is. It's in the air fryer book.
The seasoning is, I don't have this exact recipe in there, but you could get the seasoning and you could put it on roasted buffalo wings. I do a roasted broccoli, so you could pretty much do exactly the same thing.
Yep, that'd be delicious.
Yeah. And we're getting close to the countdown. That's why I wanted to put everything for the bouillon in first.
Mm-hmm.
And you saw how quick and easy it was to make the ranch dressing. It did. Before then, I actually roasted the garlic and the onion in the air fryer at about 400 for about 45 minutes or so. And so the one thing to know about this is you do need to prep something before, but if you always keep a couple of roasted onions and some roasted garlic in your freezer or something, you could pull it out really easily. Okay, this should stop in a second. And I want to show your people this cool thing I got for my birthday.
Wow.
Which seems totally off topic, but look. So you know how some people are nervous about doing manual pressure release?
Oh, cool.
What? Can you see it?
Yes, it's awesome.
And so
that is really
on the cabinet either. So it's got a couple of purposes besides just being super
That
cool.
is really cool.
And also then you're not touching where the hot steam is. So people who might be nervous about that, I think it's about a $12 item. I think it's 3D printed.
That's so cool.
Different colors, and what is it? The wolf from Game of Thrones or something? I found that too.
Yeah. Well, did you know he's vegan, Peter Dinklage?
Yes, I did.
Isn't that cool? Heather Goodwin saw him when she visited LA. She saw him shopping at Sprouts.
Oh, wow. Did Did she freak out?
No, she said he was very nice. And she went up to him, not because he was a famous actor, but because she was so happy he was vegan. And she thanked him for being vegan. She said he was very nice. So Angelina wants to know if it's a Philips XL or regular that you were using.
It's a Philips Viva. And this particular one, you can get other places, but that screen that I told you about only comes with it at Williams-Sonoma.
I see.
I'm trying to think of where, yeah. I think I put it over here.
Angie said she went to Amazon and ordered 3 more of your books because she loves her. We love her too, Angie, which is why we're trying to get her to come to our Vegas conference and just sell her books. And Pat wants to know where you buy your books. I'm guessing Amazon, right?
Yeah, you can totally get them on Amazon. And if you go to either of my websites, plantbasedinstantpot.com or healthyslowcooking.com, in the sidebar, you can click on it and go directly to it on Amazon.
And I know that your Instant Pot book is at Costco.
Yeah. And I'm happy for you to buy it anywhere you would like to buy it. And this is the little thing that goes over the basket that I was talking to you about. So that's why I got this one in particular. And you can make something makeshift either with like a strainer basket that's made out of metal turned upside down, or you can put some foil. I've not had the best luck with foil and poking holes because you want the air to flow, but you don't want those kale chips to go up into Never Never Land.
Right. What's the date of your next live intensive class? It's coming up. I just posted the link if people want to find out more about it.
It's the second to the last Saturday in June. Is that June 23rd, maybe?
Oh, cool.
Let me see.
Last Saturday of June is June 30th.
So it's the one before that. So it must be June 23rd, must be right.
Nice. Deborah wants to know if you have a health and or weight loss success story to share, and it doesn't have to be you. It could be somebody in one of your readers or people in your group.
You know, I know a lot of people are on your diet as well, so I've gotten a lot of people who are doing that, a lot of people who just do plant-based.
Yep.
I am working right now at changing some of my eating stuff as well. So whereas I wouldn't call myself a success story because I'm in progress for sure. Mm-hmm. Over the past few years, I definitely eat more vegetables and eat healthier.
Nice.
And I think maybe my health story is that I really want everyone to know and feel in their heart that no matter what dietary limitations they have, for medical reasons, for religious reasons, whatever reasons, that they can eat really delicious, tasty meals, that no one's left out of that. And
right.
That's what I'm super, super passionate about.
Well, you know what? Maybe you could start a movement called No Palate Left Behind.
Oh, I like that. Cheryl I don't know if you heard her, she said, take that one to the bank.
Yeah, exactly. No, I think I should be your manager. Everybody's saying they love you. You're cute. You should come to Vegas. I agree.
Oh,
yeah.
To the best. So you can kind of see that basically these are just kind of some steamed veggies, right?
Yep.
One of the bouillons that I like is not the best. And so you can take some of these little leaves off of the thyme and put in here. We're going to go ahead and actually, we don't want to take the thick stems and blend those up. This is going to be the base of the bouillon. A lot of times the base of the bouillon has a lot of oil and a lot of salt because salt is a preservative.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I'm not.
That's why people like it.
Yeah, and the thing is this is going to have, even like this, if you wanted to stop here, it would still have some pretty good flavor. Now, I always save the liquid that I cooked it in case I need it to blend this. So we'll find out. I'm going to be making a lot of noise again. Maybe not as much noise. Okay, so if you
that almost looks like cheese sauce or tomato soup.
And you know, it's kind of onion equivalent. So you could go ahead and turn this into nacho cheese if you left out the herbs.
Wow,
So
that looks terrific.
if you smell it, you smell just a little bit of the rosemary thyme, giving it some of, that flavor. You smell like a sweetness, a little bit of the onion, barely a little bit of the carrot and celery, but basically it tastes more like a veggie melange than any one vegetable. Now, I take it one step further and I add nutritional yeast. I know some of your people cannot have nutritional yeast.
And it's usually not because they're being difficult. It usually is some kind of a medical thing like a Crohn's or an allergy, because if people can eat it, they usually do.
Yeah, and that's perfectly acceptable. So what I want everyone to know is if you only used it to here, this will still make your soups, stews. You can use it in dressings.
Yum.
You can use it in, my friend Dawn, she uses it in everything.
And this is from your this recipe's from your Instant Pot book.
Yeah, the ultimate vegan cookbook for your Instant Pot.
That's so funny that we both use the word ultimate in our stuff, because we're ultimately meant to work together.
I think so.
Yeah. So Christy says, I am not vegan and I don't eat the best, but I bought Kathy's book and I really like everything I've made. That's a really nice compliment, Christy, and it just shows how talented she is. And Lori says, good gosh, this woman is talented. Yeah.
You guys are so sweet. Thank you.
Yeah. And Ellen says, I had the pleasure of attending a class by Kathy at a library at Durham, North Carolina. I interviewed Howard Jacobson last week, and I said, do you go to Kathy's house every week for dinner? Because if I lived in North Carolina, I would be there like every day.
I know. We haven't gotten together in a while, but he's such a nice man.
Yep.
We've gone to his house for dinner, and I brought some food there. I'm going to blend this up real quick so you can see how it looks all blended together too. And you can use the nutritional yeast to taste. I like a lot of it in this because what I do, I wish you could smell this with the nutritional yeast. Like if you've ever had any vegan chicken bouillon or vegan chicken broth that you can get in the store, this is exactly what it smells like.
Yeah, it's like, it gives it like that umami. That's the thing, I don't eat a lot of nutritional yeast, but in the recipes that I use it in, it really is necessary because it gives it that depth, that umami that you can't really get without it.
Well, and I thought I use this in all my soups, so I make some very simple kind of chickpea and noodle soup kind of thing, and almost all the flavor is coming from this and a few seasonings.
Right. Lainey wants to know if you ever come to Charlotte, North Carolina.
I don't come to Charlotte very often, but if she is interested in doing a class or something, we can talk about it for sure. She can contact me through my contact form, or you can just email me at kathyhester@gmail.com.
Okay, I'll type that in.
I'm the easiest person to get in contact with ever.
Wow.
So, and this is a lot of bouillon, right? This is like 2 or 3 cups of bouillon. So you're not going to use this within a week. So keep out what you'll use in about a week. The rest put in ice cube trays, freeze them. A normal ice cube is about 2 tablespoons. So you can even measure that with liquid before you put everything in. Once the cubes are frozen, pop them out into like a Ziploc bag or a resealable container, and then you can just plop them out one at a time. If I'm doing something in the slow cooker or the Instant Pot, I just put it in there frozen. I don't thaw it or anything, and it works fine.
Okay. So, Kathy, there was a question from Sherry, and I just Googled it because I never know how to answer this. What exactly is nutritional yeast? And it says it's a deactivated yeast, often a strain of Saccharomyces cerevisiae, which is sold commercially as a food product. Nutritional yeast has a strong flavor that is described as nutty, cheesy, or creamy, which makes it popular as an ingredient in cheese substitute. And I thought nutritional yeast was what was grown on blackstrap molasses or something.
I believe it is grown on blackstrap molasses. I actually wrote an article about it, but it's been a few years. But if they want to go to healthyslowcooking.com and scroll all the way to the bottom, there's a link to my article on wholefoods.com. And so I talk about the different ones that might be gluten-free and some that might contain gluten and different things. But I do believe it is grown on molasses now. And what I would say, and I always introduce nutritional yeast, like when I was doing it at the library, there weren't a lot of vegan people there necessarily. So I'm like, this is the worst name for the best tasting food because
Right.
it sounds like some sort of scientific compound that, you should eat this. It's good for you. But
Do you have a favorite brand? Because I do, and now that I notice that some of them do taste different. I generally use the unfortified, but I noticed that some of the more expensive brands like the Sari do seem to have a deeper flavor.
ooh, I haven't tried that brand, and I'll have to do that.
Yeah.
Uh, Typically, what I do is I go to Whole Foods in the bulk bin because especially
Mm,
if I'm doing a cookbook, I go through a lot of it just from doing all the testing. But also for people who just want to get introduced to it, Trader Joe's has some, and it's just a small bag, and it's a couple of dollars. So it's a real easy way to kind of get an entry level taste into it. And I would encourage people too if you have access to bulk bins like at Whole Foods or a local co-op, you can go and get a very small amount of nutritional yeast or usually herbs and spices. You could get a tablespoon of a new herb or spice. So that way you're not all in financially.
hmm Absolutely. Yeah, Mary's saying she likes the flavor of the Sari the best, Sari. So like if I'm putting it in a dressing, I might use the cheaper Kal unfortified, but when it's like a primary, like maybe a topping, I'll use the more expensive one.
Well, I'll have to be ordering me some today and giving it a
Yeah,
try.
see if it makes any difference to you.
Yeah, but I do. I love this stuff, and I have a lot of my non-vegan friends turned on to it too, and they eat it in a lot of different things now. I call it my famous cauliflower queso now because I brought it out when I'm the only vegan author, and they're all other Southern authors.
Right.
My stuff gets eaten because I keep thinking nobody's going to try it, and all the authors are there eating it for lunch. Everybody comes
That's because
by.
it's delicious.
It is, and nutritional yeast is a component in it too. And I think
Yep.
if you're cooking for someone, if you're cooking vegan for someone who's not vegan, adding a little nutritional yeast can really help the acceptance move on a little bit because it gives it a
Right.
little flavor.
Yeah, for the people that absolutely cannot have it, like June and my friend Nikki, who's allergic, I don't know of a sub. That is the one thing that I just don't know how to substitute.
Well, and I've been trying to think up a blend that could probably work. I haven't been, it's not tested all out, but I am thinking of putting a little bit of tomato powder and some
Mm,
powder in together, along with probably some onion powder and garlic powder as a start. And I think that would at least add some of that umami that
yep.
everybody's looking for. It won't be
Yeah.
exactly the same, but it should have a really nice mouthful.
Yeah. Lainey said, please let her know that her jambalaya recipe is the best, three exclamation marks. My husband was a chef in his own Cajun restaurant, and he loves it.
Aw, thank
Yeah.
you.
No, you are so talented. Kathy competed in an Iron Chef at the Remedy Food Conference. I guess it was last November. It seemed like an eternity ago. And boy, it was so fun to watch her from the ground up, just the wheels turning, that was great.
I could have won the ugliest food award too, though. It was tasty.
No, it's and she was competing against a top-notch chef, Jason Robel. So they both did great. I believe you each won one round.
Yeah, and his
Yeah,
food was beautiful,
right.
and mine looked not so beautiful, but they
Yeah,
all tasted good. So
yeah. But you know what? At the end of the day, it's how it tastes.
that's what's important for me. But as you can see, you're in my kitchen, and I'm not
Right.
exactly the tidiest person alive.
Joan says she loves your not received black beans. Is there something called not received black
Oh,
beans?
not refried black beans.
Okay, because that's what she typed. Yeah, very cool.
Yeah, and you can make some variations of those too. So that's in my Instant Pot cookbook, and you just basically are using like dried black beans and some spices and things, right? And so I've made another variation since then using black beans and actually going ahead and getting some whole dried ancho chilies, seeding them and deveining them, just toasting them a little bit, tearing them up, and cooking them in with it. So when you put in the immersion blender, it just all gets blended together, and that's an amazing flavor. That would be an amazing thing for people to make who can't have nutritional yeast, because you're getting a
Mm-hmm.
lot of flavor.
Yeah. So Colleen says, are her recipes UWL friendly or adaptable? Absolutely, Colleen, because even before I met her, that's what I loved. I had her book, the Bean Book and the Oat Book, because she always makes recommendations for people that are oil free or salt free or sugar free, even before we met each other. So she is really inclusive to every dietary style. So that's what's really cool. So please get her book. If you don't have any of them, I'd probably recommend the Instant Pot one first. Obviously, you would want an Instant Pot if you're going to buy that book. And if you have an air fryer, the air fryer book. But all her books are great, and the photography is beautiful. And you're not a classically trained chef, yet your recipes are as good or better than anybody that went to culinary school. How do you think you developed such artistry in recipe creation?
That is such a sweet thing to say. I kind of go out of my way to say I'm not a chef because I'm not trained. But I just like to experiment, and I'm okay with failing.
Yeah, that's important, in every career. I'm getting back into stand-up comedy after a almost 15-year hiatus of performing, and that's always the biggest fear, is failing. And if you're willing to fail, then you're going to probably succeed.
It's true. Well, and I was a classical musician, so I think some of that's just the mentality you have to go take auditions. But I've even said with people, even with all the weird experiments that I do, and sometimes I'll do things that people say not to do just to see why.
Yeah, like somebody once asked me to put a banana in the Instant Pot to see what happened.
Ooh. I don't
Haven't done it yet, but they've been asking. But I should do that because somebody wanted to know, and I don't know.
Ooh.
Yeah, Jill's saying it's natural talent. Good. Also, Kathy's a Taurus, and Tauruses like to eat, and so she knows what tastes good.
That's true. I do love to eat, and also when I became vegetarian, I was 18, so that's the first time I really cooked it all. So I kind of got to get exposed to lots of different things. So it was fortunate becoming a vegetarian, because that was like in 1983. It was a bazillion years ago. And that's when vegetarian food was very cheese and egg heavy, but it was also real herb heavy. So I think that's how I got to learn a lot of the different flavors that I wouldn't have.
Yeah, I actually have an idea for a recipe for you, but I don't want to say it here because then if we promise, but I'm going to, as soon as we get offline, stay for a minute because I got a good one for you. I got some ideas,
Okay, I'm in.
Yeah.
And if anybody has any questions about, if you get one of the books or you find a recipe online or something that's mine, all the recipes all the way back on my blog don't necessarily have all the options, but you can contact me and I will tell you what I think the best substitutions are.
Right, terrific. Yeah. So it's amazing because we've been spending a lot of time chatting, but you got all 3 recipes done in 10 minutes?
Yeah, I did 4 things. I made a sauce, a dressing, a bouillon, and some cauliflower.
That's unbelievable. See, so guys, please consider signing up for Kathy's classes. The next one is Saturday, June 23rd, and they're about 2 hours long. Yes, there is a small fee, but you get to interact with her like this for 2 hours, and she's teaching 5 recipes, and she's fabulous. I've taken one of them, and I'm going to post the link again right now where you can go register, or if you don't want to do that, at least consider going to Amazon or her website to buy one or if not all of her books. Heather is saying, wait, who? He was a sweetie. She wasn't talking about you. We were talking about Peter Dinklage was a sweetie. That's so cool.
Oh, okay. Nice.
I'm so glad. That would be, if you could cook for anybody, who would you want to cook for?
Me.
You?
I think, no. I'm like, me? Cook for whoever?
Oh, I thought you meant you'd want to cook for yourself.
No. I like a challenge. So I don't remember if I said this on your show before. I had a couple of friends who were kind of grumbling to other people, like they didn't want to come to my house to have vegan food because it was boring, blah, blah, blah. So I invited them over and I did an avocado watermelon tasting menu with 6 courses,
wow.
Which they all love, of course. But
yep.
So I think sometimes a tough sell. I like the people who are like, I can't possibly eat that way, and to show them that a smoked avocado mousse is not anything to just kind of fluff off, right?
Right.
It's real food that tastes good.
Yeah, your food tastes amazing. I mean, do you have a favorite chef, either in the restaurant world or even in the vegan world? Like I don't know if you ever heard of Eric Lechasseur. He's going to be on the show soon. He's kind of been my mentor because he's out here and I was able to take classes with him personally. He was the pastry chef at M Cafe, and he chefs now for lots of celebrities. But have you ever had like a mentor or somebody like that you just really looked up to, either for their food or their recipe creations? Or
Well, I have to say, I've always had a crush on Molly Katzen because that's how I learned how to cook, was through Moosewood. So my
cool.
early cooking was, I felt like she was there with me, teaching me what diced meant. So, I mean, I really started with her when I didn't know anything. But I will say one of the vegan chefs that I respect the most is actually in Raleigh, North Carolina, and she owns a restaurant called Fiction Kitchen. So if you're in the area, you have to go to Fiction Kitchen.
Wait, I ate there. She's really talented. What's her name? I ate.
Carolyn Morrison.
I think I ate there when I spoke at the Veg Fest the night before.
It's as good. Like, actually, we went there after we had spent some time in New York. And so Cheryl had gotten used to going to all the fancy vegan restaurants. And so when we went there, I said, look, I don't know if this is going to be exactly the same. And in fact, it was better. It was better than any of the fancy food we got. It's reasonably priced. She has things for more plant-based eating. She also has things that are just vegan. There are a few vegetarian things, but it's so few that I believe everything can be veganized, or she has a vegan option. So, like, she'll have a vegan quiche and a vegetarian quiche. So we're not.
She actually had a booth at the Veg Fest, and she was grilling okra with no oil or salt. And I had never liked oil. I've never, Freudian slip. I never liked okra, but on the grill, it was fantastic.
She's amazing.
Yeah, and she was able to do SOS free for me. I remember her. She was great. Yeah, she's
so friendly. She's got such a great attitude, and she's had a restaurant open for a few years, and still, even now, if you don't get there by 5 o'clock on any given day, there's a line.
Wow, that's great. Good, terrific.
If any of you who are watching get a chance to go to the Fiction Kitchen in Raleigh, please do. You'll be so happy that you did.
Wow. So Heather's saying, my daughter absolutely loves Kathy's cookbook. She is a beginning cook, and she will only cook with the Instant Pot and always uses Kathy's cookbook. Instant Pot should be giving you something, man, because you didn't just write a pressure cooking cookbook. You actually said for the Instant Pot, which I agree is the best pressure cooker.
It's not official, though. It's not the official.
I know, but they should have had you. They should have had you.
They give me a mini, so I do have a 3-quart Instant Pot, a baby one now that's really cute.
That's such a good. I love that one. I got to tell you, like just earlier, I wanted to just saute an onion real quick. It's on the counter. It's perfect.
It is really good, and if you only have one Instant Pot, which I think probably some normal people do.
Yeah.
At this point, I've got 3, and actually, I should show you this one. It's huge, but this one is an 8-quart Go-Wise, and so that's kind of cool. I've been playing with this, and it has some of the features that I think the new Instant Pot's going to have. I haven't tested this or done any research, but they have a canning button, and it's supposed to be a higher pressure for real canning, not like what was it? The Power XL, which you should never ever use the canning button for canning. And it has a little button on the lid that lets you let the pressure out without being near it. And so that's kind of cool too.
Wow.
So far I've liked that one as well. And I have a Fagor that I've used. It's a multi-cooker, and it's been pretty good. I've heard that they may be going out of business. I heard something about that, so that's a little scary.
Right. Okay. Well, we're almost out of time. I'm going to put myself back on the screen now if I can figure out how to do that. There we go. So if you were, I love this question, or I asked it in Canada once and they laughed at me because apparently they don't have the death penalty in Canada, and I didn't know that. But if you were going to be executed for a crime that you didn't commit, what would your last meal be?
You know what? Right now it would be southern fried, or not, they're not fried, they're air fried, soy curls. So I toss them
Wow.
with poultry seasoning and nutritional yeast, and I put them in the air fryer, and they are so good. I serve them over
Wow.
mashed potatoes with an oil-free gravy.
Sounds delicious. And I bet you have a great recipe for it.
I do. It's on healthyslowcooking.com.
Nice. Do you have anything else in the works now that you're able to share with us? What your next either book or project or appearance is?
Well, two books that I worked on are going to be coming out later this year. One is the revised Vegan Slow Cooker. So
Good.
it's got a bunch of new recipes, and that comes out, I think, in September, October-ish. And there's the Ultimate Vegan Cookbook, which is a compilation. I think there's like 500 or 800 recipes in it with a lot of the other Page Street vegan authors. But my big thing that I'm working on right now is plantbasedinstantpot.com and getting some good recipes. And I really want to create a resource where people feel really comfortable finding what they need. And with the classes too, I want people just to see it's really not that hard to cook in your Instant Pot. It's
not at all. I apologize if I mispronounce your name, but whenever I see a name that's either Kara or Kara, I never know. So she says, if you have a Faberware pressure cooker, can they still use your Instant Pot cookbook?
I haven't read the manual for that one. So here's what I would say, because I know some people had Cuisinart multi-cookers that worked. As long as there's a pressure cooker setting and you can change the time on it, it should be fine. Mostly I'm cooking on high pressure, so if you have high and low pressure, that's great, but if you only have high, that'll work too. I do a few things on the steam or yogurt function, but those aren't necessary. I just want to show that you can use a few of the other buttons. Like you can steam dumplings, like veggie dumplings in your Instant Pot on the steam function, and you can make soy yogurt or coconut yogurt with the yogurt function. So I'd look at your manual, but my initial guess would be yes.
Right. Yes, Colleen, they are online classes. And one last time, I'm going to post the link to it. You can take the one live on June 23rd, or there's one that already occurred that you can actually take the replay for. So they're fantastic. Thank you guys so much for your kind comments about both of us. And Denise is saying, thank you for your recipes, Kathy. You're a genius at this. That's the exact word I would use. And Jackie asks, what's happening with her cheese recipe research?
Okay, yeah. My friend Julie Hassan, who I think you probably know, she's a cookbook author.
I met her in Portland once, yeah.
She's amazing. She's the sweetest thing. So I did her recipe for cashew cheese. So it actually has, and so I made one version of that. I'm trying to make a nut-free version. So the first one I used white beans, and it worked, but I need to do a couple more testing because it wasn't so kind to the stomach. So I'm going to try it with chickpeas. So that's the reason I'm not putting it out there for the world, because I don't want to be responsible for people not living together anymore. But it's sliced perfectly, and actually Cheryl ate it on crackers next to regular cheese because she eats cheese. And so, like, she just had them both, and she said they both tasted as good.
That's terrific.
One of the things she uses is she uses a vegan lactic acid, and this is Julie Hassan's idea. And so it actually gives it that real fermented, cheesy flavor. So I promise by next week, I will do it with chickpeas, and I will give you a definitive answer if that works or not. And if not, you should yell at me on my Facebook page.
Yeah, don't forget, Kathy does live demos on her Facebook page Tuesdays at 1 p.m. Eastern time. And if you want to get the recipes for what you saw today, the bouillon is in her Instant Pot cookbook. The barbecue spice that she put on the cauliflower wings is in the air fryer book, and the ranch dressing she made specially for my book is on page 230. So thank you so much, Kathy. It's always, I could talk to you every week, but then nobody else would get on the show. But I'd like to have you on as often as possible. Hope you'll come to Vegas because you are loved by my people and other people too. So, and my people, we're a tough crowd. So thank you so much, Kathy. Thank you guys for watching episode 78 of Weight Loss Wednesday. I'm Chef AJ, and today it was Kathy Hester that made healthy taste delicious. Thanks, everybody.